Hi, I will show you a way to make the collection of data from customers more efficient in cases when you do an AI audit, do customer discovery, or even business analysis. Usually, you have a set of questions that you want to ask to your customers, and you have to come back to those questions and find out more details if you have a fixed set of questions. So I wanted to reduce the number of iterations on the same set of questions and to get as many details as possible, as fast as possible in one shot. So I came up with this simple solution where I send these questions to the customers in a Google Sheet. But this Google Sheet has these open questions, and these were the difficult ones when you have to drill down. And for those ones, I have a dynamic drill down system. You have here a question, which is the fixed part of the questionnaire, and then the customer would answer this question. For instance, this question, where do you lose customers? Let's say some emails do not reach them. Yeah, so in this case, I will get a follow-up question. Can you provide more details on why some emails don't reach customers? Example, they are bouncing, landing in spam, etc. Also, how frequently does this happen and what impact does it have on your business? So it goes down and asks more about this. So how is this system built? And why I say you can build it yourself very easily without being a developer, without technical knowledge. Because all you have to do is to define your own templates with questions and answers and this follow-up column. And you have to go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to create a so-called app script, which any Google Sheet has as an extension, and you just describe how you want this sheet to behave. And for this, I would advise you to try to do it in 2 steps. In the first step, to tell it to design this part and to create this part where when we fill one cell, it will trigger here, it will inject here a function to do something, so we don't have to tell it what to do. And then in the second step, we'll augment this script, telling it to change this generic function into a LLM function, a function that will call a large language model, and it will use as parameters these 2 other cells, so the cell with the question, the cell with the answer, and will evaluate the answer. So I will go now into a new sheet. Let's say these are our answers, our questions. The answers we will expect them in column C, and we are going to inject the follow-up in column D. You could even overwrite if you want. You can overwrite the questions and put the question and inject the function here and put the questions to accumulate in this cell, but I prefer to have them here. I think it's cleaner. So let's prompt the first part of the script. Please create me an app script that will detect changes in a cell on the column C, and when such changes happen, you will inject a custom function, which now you can leave empty or just to echo our values in the cell from column C. So you will inject this function in the column D, the next cell to the left from the cell we are editing. Okay, so this is the whole prompt. So basically we ask him to detect changes here. When he detects a change, to write something here. And we already asked to write here a custom function. So then we just tell it to convert these simple custom functions, which is just echoing the value that we put here. So if you put here hello, it will just write here hello, but to a function. And then we are going to change the function to upgrade it to actually call an LLM with a prompt and with parameters being the question and the answer. So it will be very soon ready. Okay, you see, that's not even very long. All right, so we copy the code, we go here, extension, app script, you paste it here, save, and let's give it a try. You see, the function is really small. Okay, so now let's try it. Say hello. See, loading, hello. So here we say hello to you too. Yeah, so it worked. In the first, it works. Now here, it will work everywhere. Okay, great. Now we add the second part of the script. We change the function. So now please change this echo function into a function that will call an LLM from the platform OpenRouter, and it will use two parameters, which are the two cells from column C and column B. The prompt would just validate if the question, which we find it in column B, has a good answer in the column C. Okay, so now we have the updated code. Again, you just copy from here and you paste it in here. And if you read here the instruction, it would tell you that you have to have a key. Okay, set OpenRouter key and paste your key in the format, blah, blah, blah. It seems that it created a function for that. Okay, it complicated a little bit. So we don't want that with the function. We want to have everything in the script a lot cleaner. I want the key and the URL for the LLM provider to be in two variables in the script, and also the prompt to be clearly separated so I can easily edit it. So this will make the script smaller. And let's save it. Okay. So you see, set your OpenRouter key. Correct. So I forgot to do that. So let's take an OpenRouter key, which we already have there, and put it here. Save again, and let's see if this works now. So it already answered us. Now another trick, if you want to have this really for free, now it's a good time to use the model Grok for Fast, because that one is really good and free for the time being on OpenRouter. So we have to search for the model here. Normally I supposed to ask him to put this also in a constant somewhere here, so I don't have to struggle to find the model there. We need to go on OpenRouter and to see models. Yeah, I can see even here in activity. So see, by default it put this one, but we don't want that one. We want this one because it's free, as it says, and we're going to replace it here. And then we saved, and let's make another test. Walk me through your end-to-end customer journey. Oh, that is too long to tell you. Mismatch. Answer evades the question by claiming it's too long. Okay, so basically in this prompt we have to adjust it. Yeah, this prompt just validates the question. You see, validation prompt. You receive a question and an answer. Judge if the answer correctly and sufficiently answer the questions. Be strict and factual. So in this prompt we actually did not ask to ask follow-up questions and so on. So in our particular case, when we want to drill down on the answers from the customer, we are going to say, okay, you receive a judge if the answer correctly and answer the questions, and ask follow-up questions if the answer is only partial, or we would need more clarifications in order to assess the customer's business and processes for our AI audit. So here again, you can elaborate more. This is a very lazy prompt that I put here, and we don't want it to respond in JSON. Why I did put this? Because probably it will parse it or something like this. Yeah, so it was overly, yeah, parsing JSON. Okay, we can leave it like this with the parsing, but yeah, valid and invalid mismatch and so on. So of course we don't want this, so we can ask it to just answer in text, and we can just delete the whole thing here. Let's see what happens if let's say we don't know much about software development, and we will save it like this, so we are not aware of this JSON parsing. Okay, let's try it again and say hello. Yeah, so still not a valid JSON, but it did this. So because we say reply only in this way, yeah, so we have to take this out because it will not answer as text. Yeah, so we take the JSON part out. Let's see. Normally it will run into an error if we'll reach this parsing, because it will expect a JSON. Yeah, so without the JSON, actually, it's simpler because we just return the text, and we don't have to do all the parsing and everything. So again, they're just overcomplicated. We already have, you see, invalid model output there. Yeah, of course, because we're parsing the JSON and it's not a JSON. Yeah, so actually now I'm modifying the code so it looks technical and so on, but we could just prompt again and again, like vibe coding. We could just prompt to have the results and even not care about the prompt here. Yeah, we could prompt here to modify the prompt itself. Yeah, so we could just always give instructions only here and do copy paste until we have the proper result in the file here. Yeah, now let's say let's do that. Okay, let's do that. So I will say fine, but I would like to have a prompt that would give us follow-up questions if the answer is not complete, or if it would help us to learn, when I'm typing now, learn more about the customer business or its processes, because we plan to do an AI audit, and this is why we are collecting this information. And we would like to drill down to find out any useful piece of information that could lead us to the correct and most valuable use cases for which we can help the customer to implement AI. Okay, so now you see a much more complex prompt, and you see it still wants to reply in a JSON, but this time you see valid true or false, reason, short explanation, and follow-up questions. Let's see. The only thing I will do here is I will start copying it from this down, and also we want to keep the model. He put it here. Very good. So it learns somehow. Okay, good. Save, and now let's pray it went well. Yeah, so you see there. Yes, it's a event failed to and you see follow-ups. Can you describe? So it's exactly what we wanted. Okay, so basically this is it, and you can try to replicate all this process by yourself, and I will also add links to my own sheet and this script, so you can start by just copying this, making a copy of this and play with it. Okay, so good luck in your audits.